done that. Been there, done that. Is a popular and often overused phrase that excuses us from having to endure anything a second time. It doesn't matter if we have skateboarded up Mount Everest, or walked from New York to London, or stood on our hats and gargled peanut butter. We are entirely too cool to do any of that stuff again. Been there, done that. Ask other people not to bore us by requesting that we repeat past experiences. We are too hip for that. Those experiences generated excitement that pumped through our bodies, but please, let's not cover familiar territory. It doesn't matter that some events would be incredible adventures, no matter how many times they were experienced, nor does it matter that something could be learned the second time around that was missed the first time. Been there, done that. Says we aren't going there or doing that again. This popular saying means different things to different people. Some places and experiences were so full of disappointment and pain that there isn't much desire to revisit them. We only have to suffer the humiliation of divorce once to know we don't want to do that again. We only have to make ends meet through one stretch of unemployment to know we don't want to go through that again. We only have to hold the hand of one loved through a terminal illness to know that once of that is more than enough. Been there, done that not only signals that we don't want to be bored by repeating an old feat. The phrase also declares that there are some things we want to stay as far away from as possible. But as with any cliché, something is lost when we adopt this motto of been there, done that. We close doors to exciting possibilities. We fail to see that there is more joy than we have yet known. We miss opportunities to learn from one another. Instead of quickly putting everything behind us with the tried please and phrase, been there, done that, perhaps we would be better off recognizing the value of our previous experiences to ourselves and to our sisters and brothers. In a time nearly void of listening skills, in a world which talks a lot about compassion but isn't very compassionate, we need people who remember what it is like to have been there and done that. And when Matthew told the story of Jesus' birth and his early years, Matthew thought that it was important for Jesus to have been there and done that. Jesus impresses people for different reasons. Some love the miracle stories, others are drawn to his teaching, still others are moved by his interaction with the unlovely and unlovable. In this lesson, another attraction to Jesus surfaces. This lesson calls for Joseph, Mary, and Jesus to begin the first leg of a long and winding journey. Yet another angel appears to Joseph in a dream, and the family is on their way to Egypt, and we don't even want to know why. We don't want to hear anything about another holiday season disaster, but we know the story. King Herod is about to search for this child named Jesus, and in a ridiculous mismatch, the king is out to destroy a baby. Out of a concern for safety, Joseph heads out in the middle of the night and carries Mary and their newborn to Egypt. They will stay there until the word comes that Herod has died. All too early we find Jesus on the move, with every new place presenting fresh and demanding challenges. Instead of keeping office hours, Jesus moved around. Some encounters brought trick questions by those trying to destroy his reputation. Some experiences were with the outcasts who were shunned by the respectable people of the day. Some exchanges were shocking. Every street corner and every bend in the road found Jesus going here and there, up to the mountains to pray, alongside the shore to teach, to the bedside of a friend's mother to heal, and to a second-floor room for one last meal together. This trip through Egypt is a sign of what life will be like for Jesus. Jesus will know pain firsthand and will suffer interminably. While some are mesmerized by the divine side of Jesus, it is his human side which allows us to relate to him and which promises that he relates to us. Like all of us, Jesus wept, suffered disappointment, and experienced betrayal. Like all of us, Jesus was hungry and thirsty and lonely and tempted. If Jesus is a friend who knows all our sorrows, it is because our sorrows are so very much like his own. Out of Egypt I have called my son. Jesus emerges from the place where his people once were treated brutally as slaves, serves to call us out of our own places and times of suffering with the assurance that we are never alone. Out of Egypt we are called. We are called to come through the pain that has visited us. We are called to get our own faith on the move. We are called to re-engage life in its most abundant form. And we are called to make a credible and exciting witness to those still stuck in Egypt. For while we may have been set free from the pain that was gripping us, others continue to suffer. They are overwhelmed by life's disappointments, drained by life's losses, and crushed by life's blows. Lest we forget and become arrogant and insensitive and apathetic, our call for this and every season is to be with the hurting among us, even as God is with us through the presence of Jesus. We can say some things to them out of our experience that they desperately need to hear. We embody hope and promise for those who are hurting because we have endured and survived troubles. As real as their pain is, we are able to reassure them that there is more to their lives than the pain that presently threatens to destroy them. A good friend of mine is a medical doctor up north in Chicago. He was diagnosed cancer 2 years ago. And as he went through that process of being diagnosed by his colleagues, and getting one diagnosis and a second diagnosis and a third opinion and a fourth treatment and so on. He experienced how this, how shall I say, health machine is working, and how you are treated like a patient number in the whole system, with hundreds and thousands others being diagnosed cancers or other very, very sad illnesses. Today I can say he, as far as we know, survived it. They found it very early and he got a good treatment. I saw him the other day on my way home to Miami, and he said, "Frank, you know, since I have been there and done that as a patient, you cannot imagine what difference this made for me as a medical doctor now, when I'm treating patients now. I have been there and done that. I know how it is to sit on the other side of the desk in the doctor's office. It is a total different view I have. And I get kind of the reaction from the patients that they feel understood and they feel kind of treated in a way they have never been treated before. Because I know now personally what they will go through. Isn't it quite an interesting story? It's quite something different than what we usually mean when we say, been there, done that. There's another story from a lady in South Miami. Her name is Shelley. After trying everything else, Shelley was present for her first Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Skeptical and listening half-heartedly at first, the words of Martha caught her attention. Martha told the group, "I just knew that I could handle alcohol and my other problems on my own, but I couldn't. 7 years ago I came to my first AA meeting, and since then, or since that time, I have grown as a person beyond anything I could have ever imagined." Martha exuded confidence and depth. She spoke of her higher power, the God of Jesus Christ, and the way in which God now lived at the center of her life. Her words oozed with sincere encouragement and concern. Most of all, Martha exhibited a thankfulness which words could not express. Quite the same story like my friend, the medical doctor in Chicago. Shelley, who came to the meeting doubtful that anything she would hear would change the way she felt or thought, made her way to Martha when the meeting was over. "I want what you have," Shelley told Martha. "I want what you have." Shelley wanted the compassion, depth, and hope which Martha knew. But she may not have realized fully how Martha came to know those things. Martha learned compassion from a time of deep personal suffering. She acquired spiritual depth from hours of praying when there was nowhere else to turn. She discovered hope by taking one step at a time, because one day at a time was too much to be expected. Shelley said, "I want what you have. Where do I get it?" And Martha told her, "It comes from being right where you are and doing just what you're doing." This is why I told Peter, it's his name that he contacted. Peter said, Frank, how did this happen? And what can I do? I said, stay where you are. You are right where you are. And do just what you are doing. This is what you're called for. Back to Miami, Martha went on to tell Shelley the honest story about learning compassion when we are hurting, and learning love when we are excluded, and learning hope when we are helpless. Martha knew, because she had been there and done that. So we ask Christ to give us the strength to share our experiences, where we have been and what we have done. Share it with the world, our beliefs and our hopes and our dreams. And we can do all this because we know Christ Jesus, in God's grace, will be with us every single step we take. Amen. Amen.